Hello, my name is Steve Bowler and welcome to Juniper RIPv2 lab number 2. In this lab we're going to take a closer look at RIPv2 authentication between two Juniper routers. And in this lab we're going to look at authentication in terms of both simple and MD5 authentication. And we're going to explain the difference between the two. So let's start off explaining the difference between simple authentication and MD5 authentication. With simple authentication, what is going to happen is that we are going to authenticate our RIP neighbors. However, this authentication method is going to be plain text. So anybody that's on the wire who might be sniffing packets across these two routers will be able to easily decrypt and find out the password that is used to form the RIP neighbor adjacency. Again, that's simple authentication. So at least you are providing some type of authentication between your RIPv2 neighbors. However, what we're going to see later in our lab is we're going to use MD5 authentication. And what we're going to find with MD5 authentication is that it is more secure. And so MD5 authentication is the preferred method to use. You're going to find that also with your other routing protocols such as OSPF and so on. Because with MD5 authentication, it's a lot harder to break that authentication and that password. So let's go ahead and explain the network diagram that we have. We have just two routers in this lab. We have router 1 and router 2. And as you have seen, if you've seen some of my other videos, you know that I use the LT interface a lot to bridge these routers. So these routers are on one physical router, and these routers R1 and R2 we're going to create logical systems. And the LT interface is the logical tunnel interface that we're going to use to combine these two routers together or enable them to talk. We're going to run RIPv2 between R1 and R2. Then we're going to advertise the loopback0 unit 2 or loopback0.2 interface on R2 into the RIP protocol and send it over to R1. So we're just going to do this just to show you when authentication fails and when it is successful. We're also going to be performing trace options within the RIP protocol and show you. So we're going to create a couple of log files and show you some of the messages that we're getting. And so let's go ahead and start. We'll create our logical systems and our interfaces all in one. It's very simple. The first couple times it might be difficult for you to do, but if you're not familiar with how to do that, create logical systems and logical tunnels, I have two labs called Logical System Lab 1 and Logical System Lab 2 in which I show you how to do that. And so that way you don't need a lot of physical routers. You can create these logical systems all on one physical router.